Hello, everyone. My name is Charlotte Thomas, and I'm a member of the First Presbyterian Church in Meadville, Pennsylvania, 890 Liberty Street. We have a special program for you today, and it has to do with the banners that have been made by the church committee. For a number of years, we have been celebrating these banners, and we want to share them with an audience. So thank you for coming. To my left is Ruth Prest, and Ruth is a retired employee of the Pennsylvania Cooperative Extension. Thank you, Ruth. And a very talented member of the church for well over 50 years. And then to the far left is Susie Malone, and Susie is a retired elementary teacher from Crawford Central School District. Both of these women are superb sewers, and they will be sharing some of their involvement in the creation of the banners. I'd like to start with Ruth. Ruth, we have many beautiful banners, and I was wondering how the banners were started and what was your role in that?
In 1997, Rebecca Borthwick Aiken, who was the director of music at the time and also worked with the Worship and Music Committee, Becky approached me and asked if I could find a committee of people who would get together and make some banners to celebrate the different seasons of the church year. And at that time, we only had one banner that hung in the sanctuary, and it was never changed. It was a beige background with the Presbyterian symbol. And she just thought it would be nice to have more than one and to be able to change them with the seasons.
Okay, so did you put feelers out to women in the church or men in the church who were able to sew, or how did that, how did you find the people?
I knew most of the people that were involved in the committee and knew that they were either quilters or people that sewed. So I just asked who was interested and who had the time to work on it.
Okay, and did you find an enthusiastic and willing group?
Yes, it was a really hard-working group.
Okay.
Do you want me to say who all was in it?
Yes, who were members
Diane
of it?
Frampton was the artist that helped with the designing. Florence Barker, Ruth Bragg, Nancy Lowmaster, Susie, and Evelyn Whitehall and Becky Hall.
So that's a very nice working group of people. Susie, as you were a member of this group and you heard about it, did you like the fact that it was going to represent different seasons of the church? And what did that mean to you? And what did you learn about the different seasons of the church?
Well, you know, we always, the vestments in the front of the church change with each season, and there are colors associated with those. So we have, I'm going to use my cheat sheet here. We're coming up on Advent now, so that would be the first one we can start with. And the colors associated with those that we see on the vestments would be blue or purple. And then we follow up with Christmas and Epiphany, and then the vestments change to white. After that comes Lent, which is purple, and Easter is white, Pentecost is red, and then the rest of the time we call ordinary time or Trinity, and the colors associated with that are green. So I don't know that I always thought about that. You notice that the vestments change, but yeah, it was nice. It's nice to have banners that highlight each season and to be more interesting and just something else to observe in the church.
Yeah, and to celebrate the different seasons.
Right.
As we look at the banner to our left, which is your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path, I noticed that it's quite large. With the size of that, how did you come up with that? And tell us a couple of the challenges of sewing something like that.
We tried to make them close to the size of the original banner.
Oh, okay.
So they're between 38 and 40 inches wide, and they're anywhere from 70 to 90 inches long. So one of the challenges is doing the sewing, especially of the letters, where you have to turn around and get around all the little loops and curves in the letters. But to have that much bulk underneath your sewing machine can be tricky.
Okay. Susie, did you find that was the case?
Oh yeah, I learned a lot about appliquing on my machine when I was working on the banners. I think the first ones we did, we used the whole length, so that was tricky to get that much turned and get your machine to work. I think, Ruth, you told me that after making a couple, now you do them in sections so that it's a little bit easier to put them together.
Like this one was done in 3 pieces, so that I could do the letters before we put the pieces together.
Okay, but it looks like one seamless banner when you take a look at it. Did everybody have their own machine that worked on this, or were there special machines?
Oh no, I think everybody just brought her own machine to work on. So we didn't have any fancy long arm or applique machine, quilting machines or anything like that.
We did one banner at a time.
Okay.
So we had committee meetings here in the Sunday school rooms, and people came and helped because there was drawing and cutting and fusing that had to be done as well. So it wasn't all just sewing.
Okay.
Took a lot of effort.
I'm sure it did. As a non-sewer, I can honestly tell you, I have great appreciation, not only for the banners, but for the beauty that they bring to the sanctuary. In a few minutes, we're going to see some pictures when we move into the other room of some of the women that were working on these banners, and it will give you a sense of the size of the banners and how much work it actually was. What I'd like to do now is we're going to move into another room and we're going to take a look at some of the designs for the different liturgical seasons and how colors were decided and how they were assembled. We have now moved into another area to share with you some of the designs of the banners, and we think this is an interesting part because you will learn about the different materials that are included in the banner and how do you get a banner that is as large as these are to scale and have them look appropriate in the church. Ruth, could you give us just a little bit of a highlight of how the process worked so that we went from just an imagination of what should be included to what is included?
Well, the committee met and decided what design they wanted to use for the different seasons of the church year. And then those mock-ups that we have here, Diane Frampton made those for us so that we could present the ideas to the Worship and Music Committee, and they in turn presented to the session and got approval. And then we could start to actually get some work done. And Diane took each design and did it on an overhead projector and projected it up so that she could make the actual pattern that we used to cut out the pieces to make the banners. So she was really instrumental in getting the designs together. She's very talented. And once we had the idea and we had the pattern, a group of the people from the committee traveled up to Rochester, New York, to a fabric store up there that has decorator fabrics. Most of the first 7 were made from drapery fabric, which is a little heavier, a little will wear a little better. And I think your mom was one of those.
She had a great time on that trip.
I don't think we mentioned that we had sponsors for each one of the banners from within the congregation.
Okay.
Each banner was sponsored by an individual or a family from within the congregation, and they paid us $300 to buy the materials for them. Decorator fabric is not cheap. And we had to kind of guesstimate how much we were going to need. So we had the big shopping trip, and then we started. And we had this big paper pattern. we had to cut out each piece and trace it onto fusible, put the fusible on the back of the fabric.
Tell us what a fusible is.
It's just a fabric that has something that when you iron it, it melts and sticks to another piece of fabric. So it's a stiffener,
Okay.
but it,
So we could cut out like each leaf on the fern over there and stick it onto the background, and then we could sew around it.
Well, and
So we
that's
had-
very interesting because I had not known that. That's part of the process. Okay.
It takes a while to do all of that because you have to cut out each individual piece and adhere it to the background, and then you sew it.
After that, that would take a long time.
it did. And so as you look at the different banners, you'll see some of them have a lot. You don't think of them, but you know, like each individual piece on the fern, or you know, on the Easter one with all of those lilies, and so there's a big part and then the yellow part in the middle. There was a lot of detail work, a lot of
detail.
intricate work.
Like even the Trinity banner with the burning bush, each one of those leaves is stitched around separately.
Right,
So,
cut out separately. And
Susie, you worked on this one. Tell
Right.
us a little bit about working on that.
well, this was one, I think we did this all in one piece, didn't we?
I think we
So
did.
we had, when we were doing the continents, this was the map down below. So those were stuck on, and then you'd have to stitch around each one with your machine, doing a special kind of a stitch that holds it on, appliques it on. So, you know, there was a lot, and I think I might have done a few of those. I know this one was really intricate. All the little pieces on that one were beautiful.
When I look at that, that looks like many, many hours of work to get that. When you were ready to hang one of these banners, there probably was a special process. How did you figure out how to hang the banners?
At first, we got the big ladder, dragged it up here, and someone had to go up to the top of the ladder, and that was just dangerous.
To say the least.
And a lot of effort to get the banner up. So my husband was the one that would help put them up at first. Her husband does it now. But
Did
he,
you get the thing?
yeah, he made an extension pole with a bracket on the top of it so that we can hook the rod that the banner sits in, run it
Okay.
up, and then wiggle it around and get it into the bracket that's on the wall.
So this actually expands?
This expands
so it
up. It
goes-
extends up so that they can reach all the way up to
all
the
the way up
top.
to the
And the banners each have a rod in the
rod,
middle.
like a
so
curtain
that
rod.
it's hooked in there, and then they can put it all the way up and then get it onto the hooks and wiggle it out and get it down again.
That must be a challenge. And as I recall, your husband was an engineer, was he not?
Yeah.
So that creation, he should have patented it, and many other people could use it.
We have a couple things that are kind of unique about these banners. This one, you notice, is not square at the top.
Right.
And so there is an insert in this top third of the banner that's like a piece of not styrofoam, but foam board. And
Oh.
it goes up inside of a sleeve on the back, and it gets pinned in place. And then there's fishing line that comes up to the rod from here. And I said, this is not something I would do again. I would square the banner before I would do that again. And the trumpet on the Christmas banner has to have an insert down the back in a sleeve to hold it so it doesn't lop over when you hang it.
Hang it up. Okay.
And
So
this is also different. Instead of a square bottom, it has,
that must have taken a lot of time too, to get that all cut and
it's just
fused.
backed. It's backed, right.
Okay.
And then the Easter one has these tails that hang down.
Okay, and we're going to look at that in a minute. So I think it is very interesting to see beginning of patterns, fusing, color choices, how different items were selected, and then to look at the finished product. Since this, I believe you told me it took close to a year.
Yes, it was just under a year that we got the first 7 done, and we were ahead of schedule and under budget.
Yay!
We turned over $400 that was left over to the church.
Well, that is wonderful. I was curious too, do any of these get dry cleaned, or how do you keep them?
Not yet. not yet.
Okay.
They get rolled up in a sheet and stored. And you want to tell them about the new
Are we ready to
place?
talk about that? Or?
Well, I just wanted to also mention, when a new banner became available, a write-up was given and put into our bulletin so that the congregants could take a look and see the amount of work and what it represented. So
And who sponsored it?
Thank you. And every banner had a piece in
those
our
first.
bulletins. So the heavy fabric does allow, though, for longevity.
Right. They're all
Okay.
lined also. There's a lining on the back of them. And when we roll them up, we roll the lining side up so that if there's wrinkles, it's in the lining, not the front.
Okay, let's take a look at this one so that we can see how this is done. So when a banner is changed, there are claws underneath,
It's just a sheet.
A sheet.
And it's rolled around a packing tube.
a packing tube, okay? And this is an interesting feature on this. Could you tell us what these are on the,
Well, quilters all know whenever you make a quilt, you should always put a label on. So each of the banners has a label that tells who it's given in memory of.
Oh,
and,
wonderful.
And the donors who it was given by. So they're all marked and labeled for posterity.
oh, that's wonderful. So when these are rolled up, is there any special place in the church that these are kept?
Well, we originally were keeping them in the storage room here, so they were just in a pile on the floor, and we decided to build a cabinet. So now there's a cabinet in the storage room off of the choir room that has shelves, so we can put 3 or 4 of these rolled up off of the floor and in a more organized way, and that's in the choir room. So,
Okay.
Her husband just made the cabinet.
Oh, how wonderful. He took some of the cabinet with him, I
well,
understand
he
a little bit.
donated a little bit to that, yeah. He and the table saw had disagreements.
Okay. What I wanted to say is after the original 7, were more banners created. Did you tell me these were done and finished in 1997?
98. We
In
started
98.
the project in 97. We finished in 98.
Okay. And how did other banners get, since we have another collection of 5?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the first one, which was The Lord is My Shepherd, it was because I saw a piece of fabric, a panel that I thought would look pretty, and talked with the minister about it and put it together and put it up.
I have to admit, as someone who sits in the congregation, and I have heard many people really appreciate The Lord is My Shepherd when that one is up. So we have other banners.
The Stephen Minister group wanted one, and so this one was created for them with their symbol.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Hold this back.
Well, we've learned a lot about the banners, and it doesn't just stop there. Since this is our 225th anniversary at the church, we are adding 2 new banners this year. The one that was dedicated, I would say, help me, Ruth, when this was fall?
May, I think.
May, okay, that this was. Could you tell us just a little bit about that?
This is just a cross pattern that I had seen online, and the fabrics were actually in the kit, so it wasn't that we chose the fabrics. They were collected by whoever made the design. But I just thought it was too pretty to pass up. So I made the front, and Marcy Fenton, another one of our members, did the quilting, which is beautiful, beautiful quilting. And Susie did the binding and the rod pocket at the top, and Sue Breckenridge she didn't.
No,
She did the new one.
I don't think we. No, I think Betty Hallett made that.
Betty
one.
Hallett made the label for this one.
For this one. Well, I think it is so appropriate to have this as the 225 because it really highlights the cross coming forward. And when you look at it, it seems like it's illuminated. So
Truly.
it's a perfect
Yeah,
one.
it's beautiful.
We have one other banner, that was created that is very special. We had not up to this point involved the youth of the church in designing a banner.
The confirmation class teenagers actually came up with the theme for the newest banner.
For the newest one.
And they decided the colors they wanted to use and what symbols they wanted to include on the banner. And then they looked at the fabrics and decided that they wanted these fabrics. And so then we went for the design.
So this was the mock-up. Did they want, then you're saying purple and red with the white lettering? I think that lettering must have taken a lot of work, to say the least.
I know it did. Ruth did it.
Thank you, Susie and Ruth, for sharing your expertise with us today. It's been such a joy to hear about this process and to be illuminated on not only the process, but let you know they bring great joy to our community. Once again, I'd like to thank especially Ruth and Susie and all members of the Banner Committee. And it is a true celebration of the 225 years that our church has been in this community. I'd also like to thank Armstrong Cable for coming and showing this program and editing this program and making it available to our communities. And we hope you will come visit us sometime. And as you sit in the sanctuary, look to your left and look to your right, and you will see the wonderful creations that the ladies of this church have made. And they just highlight not only the church, but the stained glass windows, and it gives us great pleasure to share this with you. So we hope to see you. We have services at 8:30 and 11, and we'll look forward to greeting you at the door. Thank you so much.
Thank you.